Are you trying to say God is a liar when he says we're a mighty warrior? Who told you you are the weakest? Who told you you come from the least? You are the least in your clan, you come from the weakest clan. You are least in your family, you come from the weakest clan. Who told you?
And I think when you ask that question, it reminds me so much of the question that the Lord asked Eve. That when he came to address that whole situation, he's like, who told you were naked?
Exactly.
Because God was understanding that no, it's not about what you did. It's about who you've believed in this matter. But no, maybe Dorotela, I'm gonna get ahead of myself here.
So let's unpack it even further. What you just said about Eve,
yes,
it's exactly a similar concept that is at work here. Probably at the time Gideon was alive, his clan,
yes,
according to the social standards, was the least, was the weakest. It has been deemed the weakest. Probably even in his family, the reason why he could have been the one that was threshing wheat is because he was not the kind of person that
David go,
right?
Yeah.
It's not what God had said about him. It's what society has said about him. It's not what God has said about him. It's probably what his family had said about him.
Yes.
It's not what God had said about him. It's what people had said about him. And I want you to think about how much you have believed what people have said about you and to you, such that it has become how you understand who you are.
It has formed my norm. It has formed
exactly
what I believe. Oh my God.
It forms the concept of who you are. Probably somebody said you will never amount to nothing and you have believed it. Probably somebody said you are a failure just because you failed at a particular experience and you've believed it. It was not what God said about him, but what was said by people, what was said by his circumstances, what was said by his background. But that is not what is worthy of defining who you are.
Oh, and I think then it goes back to the concept that you touched on. You said the difficult part is the unlearning. Because if I've believed so much of what people have said to me over and over, maybe it was my significant parents, now I'm getting this whole identity now in the gap. I'm like, oh my goodness, I believe this so much because it's what I've known.